Hello, and welcome to Resolutions, a podcast about dispute resolution and prevention. I'm your host, Jason Harper. This podcast is brought to you by the ABA section of dispute resolution to increase the avenues where we can connect. Today, I'm speaking with Aline Nobrega and Fabio Franco to discuss the journey of young neutrals in the field, including their challenges and achievements. Aline, Fabio, thank you so much for being here. Now, Aline, I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having us here. It's an honor to be here in ABA podcast. My name is Aline Nobrega. I'm from Brazil. I have 30 years old. I'm currently working as a case manager at the Arbitration Mediation Center for the American Chamber of Commerce in Brazil, in São Paulo. I'm from Natal. It's a different city here in Northeast. I'm also working there in a hospital that we create a dispute resolution program, especially with mediation, teaching mediation techniques for the leadership and the staff.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much, Aline. Fabio, tell me a little bit about yourself as well.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in resolutions. My name is Fabio Franco. I'm also 30 years old. I'm from São Paulo in Brazil. I'm currently attorney and mediator. I recently started my ADR company, focusing on mediation and negotiation, and I had some experience with mediation in the US also.
That's fantastic. I love to hear two international ADR professionals in the space talking about a little bit about their journey. So speaking of the journey, Aline, I'll start with you. Tell me about your path to ADR. Is this your first career? Tell me a little bit about your whole process.
Jason, it's my first career. I learned about arbitration. Here in Brazil, you have a 5-year law school, and I learned about arbitration in my last year, where I did my final paper in arbitration. I first started studying the arbitration in Mercosur in South America, and in this final paper was published. And after I tried to continue study about arbitration, I was really curious. During law school, we don't have classes about ADR. So I went to a study group in another state, Paraíba, and I traveled to have arbitration classes. And there we went to Vismut, that is an arbitration competition that happens in Vienna. And I learned about Pepperdine and scholarships opportunities there. And I got a scholarship from Vismut in Pepperdine, and that was fantastic. I did my LLM there, and I learned not only about arbitration, but all different methods of dispute resolution, arbitration, mediation, ombudsman, and I love to learn about organizations. Also, a fantastic opportunity that I had was learn about negotiation through the gender's lens. So what's really good that, and something interesting about my beginning in ADR is that when I was talking with people about arbitration, try to learn more about this field, people were like, "Oh, don't study that. That's going to only happen here like 10 years, in 10 years. So don't lose your time." Now, I'm not in a rush. I want to learn and all that stuff. And it was a career change, not only a career change, a life changing, because when I was in law school, I got my first job in arbitration, and I work in a local center in Natal, where I wrote the arbitration mediation rules. So it was really good, and I'm here now.
That's fantastic. And that's a lot of dedication to be willing to go to different states and different countries to continue learning about this particular field. Now, Fabio, before I get to you, Aline, I want to ask you, why arbitration? What is it about arbitration that interested you so much?
For me, it was something different from litigation. And one curiosity is that in Brazil, when I was starting my study in ADR, I couldn't study about mediation, only conciliation, because here in Brazil, for the mediation, you need to have 2 years of graduation, and I hadn't. So arbitration, that opened doors for me, and it's really interesting how you can, in a method, you have efficiency. So you have cost efficiency, time efficiency, and what I always say is that when you go to litigation, you go in front of a judge, it's a medical, it's a doctor that can see every kind of disease. And you go to an arbitration, you have an arbitrator is like a specific doctor for that disease. So it's very interesting to learn.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Fabio, I'd love to hear about your journey. Tell me a little bit about your journey into the ADR path. Was this your first career?
Okay, so it is also my first career. Similar to Aline, during law school, I got in contact to arbitration and mediation. Actually, what brought me to the ADR path was taking one of the mandatory classes was civil procedure. And taking civil procedure, I was looking at it and saying, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way to resolve conflict. And I started looking for books. And at that time, in 2015, most of the books had arbitration and mediation in the same volume. So I started first reading about arbitration and then transition to mediation. During that time, I entered a mediation course in Brazil to become licensed mediator, private mediator, and a judicial mediator. And during that time, because of my curiosity and, well, trying to expand my horizons, I went to do the executive course about mediating disputes at the program on negotiation at Harvard. Doing that, it broadened my horizon and said, well, I have to continue studying, going to other places, seeing what is ADR other than Brazil. So that what brought me to this path was really curiosity and trying to find myself as a problem solver, helping other people resolve their conflicts, and which would be the best way, or not seeing the best way better than others, but for me that makes sense, and that was mediation.
Nice. So tell me a little bit, Fabio, what were some of the challenges you faced on your path? And Aline, I'd love for you to answer the same question as well, but Fabio, you first.
Well, as also Aline mentioned, when we talk about ADR, a lot of the responses don't study that, there's no market, there is no way you can grow, there's actually nothing you really can do with that. And I was a little bit hard-headed, saying, well, I do believe in this. I do believe that there is a market, there is something. And here in Brazil, we have a lot of really good mediators, but the market is still growing. So, but these mediators, they are in another stage of their careers. So for a young neutral or a young mediator or arbitrator, case manager to get in the market, sometimes it's a little bit difficult. But most of it was people disbelieving that we couldn't make it.
Aline?
Well, I was thinking about what Fabio was talking, and something that I remember is about the culture. I love watching movies, and American movies, when you go for Pixar movies and all that stuff, we have dispute resolution concepts, emotions, and all this kind of thing. Here in Brazil, we learn about dispute resolution concepts in law school. We need to start change that, and that impacts in your whole life, in your whole career, the relationships and work and professional. So for me, it was really challenging because I needed to change my mindset from where I come from. That is a beautiful city, but it's a market that it's growing in dispute resolution. But in Brazil, we have São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro that have the cases. So you need to go around, and for me, was going to US, learn about ADR, have the formal education to come home and try to work in good places. Here at Anshan, in the last year, we grow from the ranking in the Leaders League for excellent. So it's based on a really hard work, and for that impacts the marketing and all that stuff. Brazil is considered a good city for arbitration, and it's a work that is being made from a lot of different people, and we need to have more space for youngers. And I'm thinking about maybe in technology cases that elderly people don't have so much knowledge of that. Maybe have co-mediators. I don't know, just thinking about opportunities here for young neutrals.
Yeah, certainly there can be an advantage for youth in the ADR space in those areas. Fabio, do you see the same, or do you see any other advantages to youth in the ADR space?
I think that for young neutrals, or for anyone that is young and wants to start a career in mediations, or in ADR, you have one thing that is really good, that you have access. You have access to, as a student, especially, access to other professionals. You're in a situation that you can approach them and learn from them. Also, you have extensive research, extensive books that you can read, and you can work and grow and develop from formal knowledge that others have crossed and make this path for you. So for a young neutral, you can certainly use that. So it's easier in a sense. Also, I do believe that there is a space for young neutrals, but that it has to be developed because you have sometimes some issues about what is traditional seen as a neutral that is maybe changing, because society is always changing and we have different paradigms that maybe will shift in this market.
And now, a word from our partners.
Next Level Mediation Software is a mediator's best tool for advancing their online dispute resolution practice. It takes into account the psychological attitudes of the disputing parties and helps mediators find the key priorities to negotiate. Based on decision science and an easy-to-use interface, the Next Level Mediation platform can handle the most complex disputes. Register today at nextlevelmediation.com for your complimentary 30-day trial of the subscription service and enter the code ABA discount 20 for a 20% discount.
And speaking of the market, I don't know if I asked you about this, but what were some challenges that you faced on your path in the ADR space?
Well, first is the fact of being young. There is a lot of people, a lot of other practitioners that they give some advice saying maybe you're too young, too soon to start your career. Maybe think about starting the ADR career as a second career that is more traditional. So that is really hard to overcome, but you can, when you network, when you show your what you know and the practice. But to do that, also credentials are important. Going to a really good ADR course, an LLM, and always keep studying and honing your abilities. So if you don't have the experience of time, you have the experience of courses, knowledge that you acquire along the way.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. And so to that point, when you talk about networking and you talk about, getting yourself out there, what do you do to promote yourself? What does promotion look like in your area, not just in the mediation space, but in the mediation space in Brazil specifically?
So there is a part of social media, especially LinkedIn, also connecting, going to events, participating, and literally meeting people. After all the time that we spent separated because of the pandemic, now in-person events are coming back, and it's a really good opportunity so you can sit, have a coffee, talk to former or more experienced ADR professionals, and start to show what you know. And also, I participate as a judge in national and international competitions about negotiation and mediation. It's really good to know people in that area because you can talk about it, you have different views about what was happening, and also you meet younger aspiring ADR professionals. So you can talk to them and say, hey, maybe try to do this. This is some challenges as a young professional I'm facing. Let's figure it out. So it's exchanging information and really networking. That is really important. Also, writing, participating in courses, trainings, and all sort of that to promote, of course, yourself as a mediator. Also, just a quick note, in Brazil, we have some, it's not a law, but promoting services, especially ADR services, you have to be, you walking a really difficult line because you want to appear professional and you have to take in consideration the culture in Brazil. It's really a really subtle way to promote yourself.
That's very, very interesting. And I appreciate the fact that you gave us that little bit of nuance. I think that's extremely important. Alini, let me come back to you. And this is a question for both of you, but I want to start with you, Alini. Do you have mentors? And if you do, what advice or what guidance have they given you as you enter into this particular ADR space?
Jason, I have great mentors. I can say that I think it's a relationship that you need to take care. It's, for example, with my leadership, I'm always asking where I can improve, how I'm working, and in that kind of relationship, you have spaces for understand where is the market, what the market wants in kind of abilities and skills, all that stuff, and it's very good. What I try to have, it's different mentors. It's not only one mentor that's going to have all the answers that you want. It's I have a mentor for medical law, a mentor for arbitration, another for mediation. And it's very good to have relationship with people that have more experience than you. It's not that you're going to have the same life that those people have, but it's really interesting to learn. And I think Fabio and I share a mentor that is Professor Stephanie Blondell. And she's amazing. And I really want to learn about a negotiation for a woman. And it's really interesting because it's not that only way is the correct. You have various ways to do the same, to achieve the same goal. And it's really good. I think it's something that everyone should have in the...
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. Fabio?
Taking from where Lini stopped, For me, I also work as the adjunct supervisor for the mediation clinic at the Strauss Institute for Dispute Resolution at Pepperdine. And there are two professors for the mediation clinic. It's Stephanie Blondell and Professor Alexander Williams. I learned a lot from both of them. Also, with Professor Stephanie Blondell, the exchange and learning the growth that I had during that time was incredible, because a part of that I was responsible to help international and domestic students to mediate cases at the small claims court, and having a feedback of what I'm trying to teach with someone that has a lot of more experience and really skillful on that was incredible. Also, I had professors that really changed the way that I understand and see mediation and dispute resolution. Most of them from Pepperdine, Steve Rotman, Stephen Paul, Professor Simran Singh, Peter Robinson. So there was a lot of also different professors that helped me construct how I am as a mediator. So as mentors, I would say specifically Professor Blondell.
Professor Blondell sounds like a fantastic person. So a huge shout out to Stephanie Blondell. And finally, what piece of advice or encouragement would you give other young neutrals in the ADR space?
I think it's have courage and go for it. You can start with research, have articles out there, talk with professionals, but show your work. When you show your work, doesn't matter your age. So this is my message.
So I agree with Aline. If I could complement some things, I would say also go and have good credentials. That is a really good way to show that you've done your work. You've done the study part. You learn with really good professors and you did the work. Don't be afraid. Challenges are going to be in any career. ADR is no different. The pathway is, you have your challenges, but also your benefits. It's a really rewarding career. And believe in yourself, meaning that you sometimes will have negative feedback, people saying that you shouldn't be doing that right now, but continue and go for it. So take the plunge.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aline, and thank you, Fabio, so much for your words of encouragement and some of the information and the tips that you've experienced and some of the sharing the path that you've taken into the ADR space. This has been Resolutions, a podcast about dispute resolution and prevention. I'm Jason Harper. Take it easy. Thank you for listening to Resolutions, a podcast about dispute resolution and prevention. If you enjoyed the episode and you'd like to support our podcast, please share it with others, subscribe, or leave a rating and review. To stay up to date with all the latest info on dispute resolution, follow the ABA section of dispute resolution on LinkedIn and Twitter. Or for more information about other ABA dispute resolution programs and publications, including upcoming events, visit www.americanbar.org/dispute. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.